Honesty, passion, experience. It's Timberwolves Explosion, hosted on the paladinolive network. And now, your host, Paladino Joey. Hello again, Timberwolves fans. Are you ready for the explosion of Timberwolves basketball? I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Owygen. Timberwolves Explosion is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps, and of course is a part of the Basketball Podcast Network coming in out of Vancouver, British Columbia. Thank you, Dylan and Kyle, for having me on board. Really appreciate it, and of course sponsored by DraftKings. You're going to hear from them shortly. I'll probably do it at an earlier time in this episode because the Timberwolves didn't play any games. There was an All-Star game with Anthony Edwards in it, which is good. Anthony Edwards got to play in the All-Star game. It was fun, but I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of annoying watching little layup drills. It's almost kind of what it's like, guys not really challenging each other a whole lot. Okay, you get the rebound. You pretend to play defense for a second. Maybe you'll block a shot here and there. But, you know, it's become more and more of an exhibition than it ever was. So I'm not a huge All-Star fan. You saw an interesting slam dunk, kind of an underdog story. That was cute and everything. Really appreciated it. I'm not going to get hard and heavy into that right now because, I don't know, it's not my cup of tea. The whole All-Star weekend isn't what it used to be. We're here to mostly talk Timberwolves. That's kind of my approach. Somebody will be like, what kind of show is this? Well, it's a kind of show that talks about the Timberwolves, you know, and occasionally, and I do go around the NBA and doesn't care a whole lot about All-Star games as much as I used to. I'll watch off and on, but I'm not going to watch closely, and I'm not going to sit and analyze an All-Star game. Like, why would I analyze the All-Star game? That's kind of weird. So, honestly, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, we're going to basically have what we're going to call a preview segment, of course, and appreciate Anthony Edwards a little bit. But yeah, we're going to have a preview segment with the 3 up-and-coming games, and then, of course, fan interaction. So it's kind of like similar to last week's show, except previews versus reviews. That type of thing. I'm not sure how much interaction there is. There's going to be some, I think. Maybe not a whole lot. Maybe not. Because obviously there weren't any games. So I'm just actually sifting through this right now. This is going to be a one-segment show. Executive decision made. Though I think, I thought I posted something on the Facebook page. Yes, there was response, but we'll probably keep this a one-segment show anyway. What's the point? So with that, let's get to DraftKings right here and right now, right out of the gate. And yep, we'll be using the similar script to what we've been using for the time being. At least I thought so. There we go. NBA fans, it's time to bring the hoops action to the palm of your hand with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet $5 and win $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, for a limited time, all new and existing customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every day. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app today, opt in, and place a same-game parlay in any NBA game, and if it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back. Isn't that cool? Yep, so really, really appreciate that. Same-game parlays that can come up. Again, maybe Anthony Edwards will continue his influential run, hopefully against the Warriors and against everyone else. Crazy to consider the Wolves are competing against the Warriors to make the playoffs. But, okay, so be it. If we can help knock them out and put an end to their obnoxious quote-unquote dynasty, that'd be nice. Because I can't stand the Golden State Warriors, if you know who I am. Anyhow, download the app now and sign up with code TBPN, the Basketball Podcast Network. New customers can bet $5 in the NBA and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. With code TBPN, minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, DraftKings, for having me on board. Pardon me, I'm trying not to cough to death. That's why you might hear me pausing. I'm not sure, like some weird dry cough has kind of taken over. Probably because there's a lot of dry air and it's the calm before the storm. The other thing that I should be talking about is you'll notice the show is being released at a different time because, again, the major storm happening here in the Twin Cities area and kind of greater Minnesota, you can say as well. Major storm. So those of you in Australia wouldn't understand much about snow because you don't need to. So you're probably happy that you don't. But occasionally we get nailed pretty good. And I guess this time it's supposedly going to be a historic one. So I'm recording this early. And the fact that it's going to be a shorter show, I'm able to kind of move things around because Brave the Wild's still kind of in full force. So that one is going to be recorded on Friday, recorded and released on Friday. So I can kind of help clean up on Tuesday, Thursday, clean up snow issues on Thursday. It's going to be dramatic unless it's another big bunch of hullabaloo, which occasionally it is. Anyhow, let's get to the previews, the fan interaction, and wish you would do the rest of the week. Yahoo Sports has been acting up again. I'm not sure what's going on with Yahoo Sports. I don't know, but it's been acting up. Charlotte Hornets, not the Bobcats, the Hornets. I'm very glad about that, even though Bobcats isn't that bad of a name. They're not a good team. 17 and 43, if I ever get it right, in Target Center. Though these days it doesn't seem to matter where the Wolves play. Sometimes we have these underachieving, stupid games, and then all of a sudden we kick somebody's butt. So I don't know. Like games like against the Dallas Mavericks, that was kind of fun, you know. Injuries, Karl Anthony Towns, the calf. I think we heard about that. Kelly Oubre Jr., who's driven us crazy forever. Hand injury, we'll see, but watch him come out and torch us, but who knows. Cody Martin, knee, as of January the 16th. Terry Rozier, February the 15th, with also a hand injury, so they could use a hand. Okay, sorry. Comparisons, Charlotte Hornets, 19th in points, Wolves are 8th. And I usually mention the Wolves only in the first preview because, because it gets redundant, you'd get bored. Rebounds, the Hornets are 7th, the Wolves are 26th. Field goal percentage, Hornets are 27th, the Wolves are 4th. It's kind of surprising, actually, but I suppose when you attack the rim a lot. Three-point percentage, the Hornets are 29th, Wolves are 18th. Hornets, 12th in assists, Wolves are 11th. Turnovers, Wolves are 28th, the Hornets are 10th. As I go backwards. Hornets are 7th in assist-to-turnover ratio. Interesting, but they still stink. Wolves are 24th. Hornets are 8th in blocks. Impressive. 5th for the Wolves. 5th. Hornets 6th in steals. The Wolves 6th in steals. This is the series opener. No, the Wolves lost the series opener in Charlotte on Friday, November the 25th, right after Thanksgiving, if I remember correctly. That's Black Friday. Wolves lost by 2 points in Charlotte, an extremely disappointing game. Hopefully the Wolves can even this series up, and I'm guessing they will. The Hornets have won 2 in a row after losing 3 in a row, so you get the idea there. 2 and 3 in their last 5. Losing at Washington, 118-104. Losing at Boston, 127-116. Losing to Denver at home, of course, 119-105. Beating Atlanta, now a former team of Nate McMillan. He's been let go. They beat Atlanta. Apparently, they might be targeting, the former Utah coach. So, San Antonio won. They beat San Antonio, who's now putrid, 120-110. They're destroying Popovich's win percentage, which was pretty damn good for ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. The Wolves will beat the Hornets, and they better. And if they don't, seriously, get your heads out of your you-know-whats. LaMelo Ball, when he actually plays, 33 games this year, 23.3 points, 8.4 assists. He's a wonderful player. Should he have been Rookie of the Year? I still disagree with that. As good as he was as a rookie, so was, that just said Winter Storm on my laptop. It just changed. Interesting. But it's not really here yet, though, of course, you can hear the wind swirling around already. This is Wednesday morning, late Wednesday morning, though, because I had to take care of my car a little bit first. LaMelo Ball, obviously the star. Terry Rozier, a hand injury, but we'll see if he plays. He's been one of the more, obviously, reliable players with the Hornets this year. Oubre's been out for quite a while. He's a headache, though. God, he's driven us crazy forever. His field goal percentage is lousy. 42%. Three-point percentage is less than 31, that is. And I don't know, but he torches us every frickin' time, so I can't stand the dude. The Wolves will get the win, though. Final score, 114 to, it's not going to be the greatest game ever. 114-108, Wolves win. Anthony Edwards is going to score 31. I must say that every day, but that seems to be who he is at the moment. And we'll see how things adjust when Karl comes back. And you can still have 2 stars. Shaq and Kobe were 2 stars. It doesn't mean they're going to get along necessarily. That's the scary part. Again, Friday the 24th, this game will happen. So again, this all adds up perfectly fine. The game won't have happened yet by the time that the show normally would have been recorded anyway. Sunday, we're heading to Northern California. We're actually ahead of the Golden State Warriors, which feels great. And they're not like putrid bad like they were with a certain point guard on their team that one year when everybody was hurt. A certain point guard we traded for. Andrew Wiggins has personal issues, wanted to get traded. Personal issues, like Mike Conley, it's personal. No, he got traded. Andrew Wiggins personal as of Valentine's Day. That's cute. Gary Payton II, adductor, around that same time. Is he actually on the Is he actually on the Warriors now? Did they actually complete that trade? Ryan Holland's foot injury. So, blah bitty blah. The Warriors are number 1 in points, number 1, 13th in rebounds, 12th in field goal percentage, 3-point percentage 3rd, assist number 1. Yikes. 29th in turnovers. Interesting. 7th in assist to turnover ratio. Still don't understand how that works. I really don't, but I guess it's because they're number 1 in assists, so whatever. 26th in blocks, na boo boo, and they traded away Wiseman. I think they did for Gary Payton II. I mean, did Gary Payton Sr. have a gun to their head to trade away Wiseman that quickly? But I guess, I don't know. Steals 14th. I'm not sure. It's been a very interesting series. Kind of. Both of these will be on the road now because we had 2 home games. Golden State obliterated the Wolves 137 and 114 in disgusting fashion. God, it was a classic Warriors, romping all over the court and Curry all happy with himself and playing with his mouth guard 24 hours a day. That's why I called him the rubber muncher when, during their previous run beating the Cleveland Cavaliers 50 times. I mean, we're happy for you. Even though the Cavaliers embarrassed them on their own court in a 73-win season, that was a wonderful feeling. One of the happiest days of my life as a basketball fan. It really was. But not that day. 137, 114, and then the Wolves, much happier day. 119, 114 on February the 1st in overtime. Pretty low scoring for an overtime game with the Warriors, but okay. Sunday, Feb 26th on the road. March 26th is on the road as well, so literally a month away, and spring will be sprung, maybe. Calendar-wise, it will be up in outer space, so to speak, as the Earth orbits the sun. Will be an equinox, so that'll be nice, and it'll probably be 28 degrees with snow on the ground. But let's anyhow keep moving. The Warriors are 2-3 in their last 5, na boo boo, and all that cute stuff. They crushed the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are right there. Oklahoma City's been a nice little story this year, getting a little better, and they have 100 draft picks on their way. They really do, just like the Utah Jazz. 141-114. The Warriors whooped on the Thunder, unfortunately. I don't want to think about the 3-1 thing, but luckily the Warriors got 3-1 right after that. Thank you. At Portland, 125-122 lost. Interesting. The Lakers beat them 109-103. That's great. And yes, LeBron James is the all-time leading scorer. We know. And it was in a lousy game against a mediocre team. Kind of like Michael Jordan with the Wizards beating a mediocre Sixers team, making a couple of free throws as his last points versus a championship-clinching shot. What a contrast. Both teams missed the playoffs, or maybe the Sixers were the 8th seed or something. Woo, frickin' who. Michael Jordan makes 2 free throws versus a championship-clinching shot. That's the sad part. But, I don't know. But Jordan didn't play enough, so LeBron's the GOAT. BS. No. I'm sorry. Michael Jordan was undefeated in the NBA Finals. Every time Jordan was in the finals, you just knew it. And quite frankly, yeah, when Jordan really was in championship mode, he was basically undefeated. The only time he lost in the playoffs during that run was because he was rusty as hell, and he wasn't playing his best, coming back from, retiring that first time with his, who knows what the reason was. Obviously, his dad dying was a huge reason, but there's all kinds of rumors about that the NBA was going after him about gambling, and it was secretly a suspension. And Michael was like, well, I'm really down in the dumps anyway. It was my father was killed. So kind of a combination of things there. What made me get into that? I'm not sure. Our next opponent after the Warriors, a 134-124 loss in Los Angeles. So it was loss time for the Golden State Warriors. They did beat the Wizards, which again triggered the Jordan conversation as well. 135-126. Will the Wolves beat the Warriors? I don't know, but I think so. Isn't Curry out? I thought he was. I thought Curry's been out for like ever. But yeah, I mean, it's probably not showing all the injuries. Curry's not been playing, has he? So I'm going to jump in. Most recent game was Valentine's Day. Curry's not going to play, is he? Or did he? No, he's out. That's what I thought. He's on my fantasy team. I think he has a hand injury himself, if I remember correctly. Like, everybody needs a hand right now. No, it's a leg. Okay. Sorry. I'm getting mixed up. I know he's had hand injuries about 2 or 3 times in his career that had him out forever, particularly that awful year where they missed the playoffs. But Wolves should win this game. I mean, Dante DiVincenzo, Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, okay, fine. He's not the same guy. Kevin Looney, that's your starting lineup. I mean, I don't know. Kuminga, yeah, that's the guy that we traded in the Andrew Wiggins trade. It became him, just like current guy on the Wolves right now, Austin Rivers, was the draft pick in the Sam Cassell trade, which ended up not being as big a disaster as it could have been. Kawhi Leonard's been playing great. We'll talk about him very shortly. He's kind of starting to play like Kawhi again. Took him almost the whole season. I think the Wolves win a few games here. I think the Wolves win. I think the Wolves win this game. On the road in Golden State. I mean, why the hell not? And if you don't, you're just screwing around. Like, win this game. Win. Draymond Green, yes, he's dangerous. Yes, he's a pain. But if he's your best player, okay. I mean, why can't we beat them? So just beat them. I mean, stop screwing around. Just stop. The Wolves will beat the Golden State Warriors 126 to 120. 126-120. Anthony Edwards, 28 points. I think he's going to continue to lead the Wolves. I got a feeling Gobert's going to have a big one, though. And I wouldn't be surprised if Conley has like 11 assists in the game. So there's your little parlay, I guess you can say. Conley with 11 assists. And I'm expecting big things out of Rudy Gobert in this game as well. Something like 21-16 type of game. Will I be 100 miles off? It doesn't really matter. I'm not giving you financial advice and draft, and I'm just having fun with it. You know, like, why the hell not? With possible like DraftKings ideas and such, and just predicting the game. The Clipper game on the 28th is the final for previews, and then the next game would be Friday, and we'll talk about that next week. Apparently they have no injuries, knock on wood, when you consider who's on their roster. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Boy, they are Iron Men, let me tell you. Maybe once upon a time they were. Clippers are the 4th seed, 33-28. I think this is on the road, right? Thought so. It is. Yes, it is. Crypto.com arena. Yes, and yeah, get your Crypto.com as well. The series is tied. The Wolves actually did beat the Clippers at home, you know, in Target Center anyway. 99-88 loss on December the 14th. 128-115. Fun game on Friday, the 6th of January. Interesting. And then the final day of February, because it's not leap year. Los Angeles next year will be. Los Angeles Clippers host the Wolves. This is the final game of February that I'm previewing right here. Clippers are 3-2 in their last 5. They have the best thing going so far. 124-116 win at Brooklyn. 110-104 loss at home versus the Mavericks. Loss to Milwaukee at home 116-106. 119-106. Beat the Warriors, like I just said, 134-124. And then lost at Phoenix, which still doesn't have Kevin Durant yet. But once they do, 116-107. Poor Brooklyn. They got to wait a year for Kevin Durant to come back. He comes back. He's basically the best player in the world that year. And then he accidentally steps on the three-point line, and they lose to the Bucks by like a millimeter, which is crazy. And ever since, they've been a disappointment. But that Brooklyn team might have won the championship, because they probably were going to beat the Bucks had Durant not accidentally bumped the three-point line. So think about that. They could have won it all. Brooklyn could have won it all that year. Maybe. It would have been an epic final. Suns and Nash going against his former club and all that as a head coach, and then Brooklyn going against his, Durant supposedly going against his future club. Would have been really interesting. Clippers will beat the Timberwolves. Unfortunately, the Wolves will meatloaf the week. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Yes, I've said it 100 times, but it's a meatloaf. Paul George is officially leading the club in scoring, but Kawhi Leonard has been the best player lately, and he should be. He's right behind, though. 23 points a game for Paul George, 22 points a game for Kawhi Leonard, but he's been averaging like 30 the last few weeks here. I believe John Wall's no longer on the club. I think he's a free agent now, interestingly, so okay. Marcus Morris Sr., 12 points a game. Norman Powell, 17 points a game, and yes, they have. Bones Highland, so far in 2 games, just kind of getting acclimated, only 16 minutes, 7.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, which is pretty good for a guard, 1.5 assists only. Amir Coffey, the former Gopher and all that, and son of, I forgot the main guy's name. doggone it, well, Coffee, but why am I forgetting his first name? His dad, like, it was Richard Coffee, yeah. Like, come on, come back in my brain here. And it did, thankfully, before I had to start digging. Nicholas Batum has been a pain in the ass for the Wolves historically, averaging 6 points a game and getting paid $70 million a year. Okay, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he's another one of those guys that's got a big contract, and, yeah, we're happy for him. He's not that good. But the Clippers will beat the Wolves. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, they've killed us forever. And it's a pretty good team right now. The Clippers are a nice little dark horse club that might go all the way this year. They just might, because the West is pretty open. The West is pretty wide open, honestly. So Clippers beat the Wolves. Final score I think it's going to be like 121 to 116. Relatively close, but I think the Clippers win. It might be worse than that, like 128 to 110. But I think the Clippers beat the Wolves, unfortunately. Mike Conley goes out for 35. No, I truly doubt that. Without D'Angelo Russell possibly getting red hot, you just kind of have a feeling it's going to be Anthony Edwards most nights. Jaden McDaniels could play a huge factor if the Wolves get the win. But Anthony Edwards is going to lead this club in scoring almost every day. But I think he gets like 25, which is like only at this point. That's his average. Only 25. And the Wolves do not beat the Clippers. And so on and so forth. So again, one segment show. Let's keep moving. It's getting late. I better keep moving. There was a retweet by the Basketball Podcast Network. Thank you so much. Also, Benzo out of the Bronx. Tanae Brown out of New Zealand. Levi Brown out of New Zealand. And Vince Germano out of Australia, Melbourne, and all that. Really thank you guys so much for retweeting. I appreciate that endlessly. I do think I had a little interaction on Facebook. I could have just pulled it up a different way. Now I'm wasting my time. So my apologies. At TWolvesEX is the Twitter account. The Facebook page, okay, maybe this is going to work. Interesting memory. Yeah, wow. 7 years ago, yeah, there was warm enough that there was a big giant wasp walking around on the sidewalk in my old Brooklyn Park apartment. Interesting. And here we are today. We're going to be like below zero Friday morning. Yeah, below 0 Fahrenheit. That's a little colder than below 0 Celsius, by the way, for those of you that use Celsius on a regular basis. But most of you are smart enough to know that anyway. Oh, yeah, wonderful statement by Anthony Edwards. I'm glad. Nobody commented on the Twitter. Maybe they didn't. Maybe I didn't tweet it. I was going to. Awesome. Oh, Anthony Edwards during the All-Star game. This is what should have made him the MVP. And I love what he says. All the guys sitting, resting. Just play, man. These people might have enough money to come to one game, and that might be the game they come to, and you're sitting out. Yeah, I mean, amen. I agree. Anthony Edwards, on one thing he would change in the NBA. Long ovation for that. Do you think him and D'Angelo Russell agreed on 100% of things? I don't think so. Tanae Brown, out of New Zealand, says, couldn't agree more. I've been to 2 Wolves games in my life, flying for roughly 20 hours. Do you realize that? Yeah, see, that's what Michael Jordan used to say. Like, why would I give a half-ass effort or not play at all when it's, like, not the biggest injury? If it's a significant injury, yes. Oh, when guys prolong their career, yeah, but some of this stuff is not the kind of thing that's going to ruin your career. It's really not. That's a cop-out. So that's when I've seen people commenting that. Back to what Janae said, which is much more important than what some goofball stranger on an NBA Facebook page would comment, talking down to people like he's so smart. Couldn't agree more. I've been to 2 Wolves games in my life. And this should wrap up the conversation right here with any moron that disagrees. Flying for roughly 20 hours to get to Minneapolis. Did you hear what he said? 20 hours to get there. I would have been pretty upset had Butler or Towns sat during the load management. That should end any argument right there. 20 hours. Imagine if Tanae Brown flew all the way to the Twin Cities from New Zealand, folks. Not from Duluth. Not from St. Paul. Not from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. You get the point. New Zealand. And then guess who's playing? Jordan McLaughlin, Nate Knight. All right, coach. I like Nate Knight. I like him very much. I wouldn't fly 20 hours to see Nate Knight. I really wouldn't. I'd fly, 20 hours to see Michael Jordan, guys, you know what I mean? Like what if Michael Jordan wasn't playing and it's, Scott Burrell, guys like that. Scott Burrell, starting shooting guard for the Chicago Bulls. Scott Burrell. Oh, great. You know, stuff like that. And the Warriors, it's like they don't give a crap. So more reason to not like the Warriors. Even more reason to not like the Warriors. So this winter storm is called Olive, huh? Because I remember so Olive. Hi, Olive, whenever you get here. Interesting. Olive. Well, maybe it's not the same one, though. That might be the one over in the East Coast. Anyhow, what am I talking about? Danae, you nailed it. That's hurricane. Yeah, that is. I'm not going to talk about hurricanes. That is an awesome statement, and it should prove everyone else like, hey, yeah. Statements like that prove Anthony Edwards and Michael Jordan right. I'll take the Michael Jordan, Anthony Edwards mentality any day of the week over the, hey, you know, it's prolonging their career. You know, what if it screws up their career? Yeah, if it's something that could affect your career, it is what it is. But if it's not, and you're just kind of being a baby, you're just being a baby who wants to take the day off, kind of like people at work that call in every time they have a sniffle, or they call in every time, oh, I could go to a party or something. You're not, you know, maybe today's not the day for you to go to a party, you know, that kind of thing. Like it's like a regular work day. Listen to that, like schedule it way ahead of time. Like rather than calling in at the last second, I just don't feel like it. I just don't feel like going into work today. That kind of crap. There's way too much of that. Way too much of that. I need a mental health day. Yeah, well, take it off like way in advance, then nobody's really going to complain. But there's people that will use up their absence by February something, and then they're pissed off for the next 10 months that they, you know, could get in trouble each time they call in. Well, whose fault is that? That kind of thing. Why did I get into that? I don't know. It's similar. It's the generation. They're just different. They're different, you know. And I don't hate everybody from the younger generation. I've met some nice, tough, professional people from the younger generation as well. So, and I could see their face right now. So a couple of them, and I'm giving them a thumbs up, like in the imaginary world. With that said, thank all of you so much for listening, retweeting. Get your DraftKings Sportsbook app and all that, and look forward to talking Timberwolves basketball and watching Timberwolves basketball again very, very soon. Until next time, take care.